Alright, we're going to put the CPU cooler on this motherboard that we're using for replacement for my buddy's computer that took an unfortunate fall. And there's our NVMe adapter right there. I'm going to have to bolt the thing on, but to do that I got to take the heatsink back off, which kind of sucks, but it is a pretty nice one. This one is called a, I don't know, a Uliting. You see it right there. So we ain't gonna mess around here. We don't want to burn too much vid up doing this stuff, so let's go ahead and get this old Intel cooler off of here. We are going with the Dark Flash. Is that what it's called? Yes, Dark Flash Z4 Pro Series Tower CPU cooler. This thing is a 200 watt cooler. It's called the Storm. And I believe I got her in white to kind of match the aesthetics of the case we got going on, so I believe it's in white. Meanwhile, we're going to try to get this CPU cooler off, and you know, that's not, no part of that's going to be easy, is it? Okay, that should be lock. This should be, you turn it back, it should be unlock. Help me understand. There we go. We got one more, we got one more, there we go. You can see we had to use the old thermal paste, and I'm gonna need a paper towel to get this off of here. And we are on the dining room table, but my wife is out of town. She's actually in Vegas for work, so if she don't see this video and you don't tell her, she'll never know. Oh, we've used this table a couple of times for stuff. We're going to use it in this video. Typically I don't, though. I have my own mess. Razor blade would be cool. Should have brought one of them with us. Oh, why do that when we could just rip a box open with a screwdriver, right? Who needs a razor blade when you own a screwdriver? So I have never used this CPU cooler before, just so you guys and gals know. So there's a first time for everything. We're gonna get our mounting hardware out here. And we're gonna pull our cooler out. Did they give us thermal paste? Because I don't think I got any of that. I'll have to order some, but I haven't done that yet, so we may have a little problem if they didn't. Basically, we might not be getting a CPU cooler on here. Well, not a bad looking cooler though. Get it out of the package so you can take a little closer look here. This is the Dark Flash Z4 Pro right here. So you tell me if you've used this cooler. I'm sure some of you have, some of you haven't. Looks like a pretty slick looking CPU cooler right there. So I see some different bracketry in here. I don't know which one we need. Well, I do know which one we need. We need the Intel. And maybe I could have read the instructions, right? No, who does that? Come on, fellers. Who reads the instructions? We don't. We don't need no instructions where we're going. You and I both know that. So the 1150 board and AMD take these guys, I can see from that. And this looks like it may be set up for Intel as it is, so it plugged into those two. Plugged into that one, and it plugged into that one. So it says it's for Intel, and I would say that it's definitely fits the 1150, so let's just indulge ourselves with the instructions here. Oh, AMD users, Intel users. You pop that down, you put some thermal paste on there. It looks like it comes in a packet from them. I don't know what you do with the rest of it. This screws onto these metal brackets wherever they went. Oh, there's the CPU paste that comes in that package. All right. These metal brackets right here, they got to screw on somewhere to the cooler. Do you screw the cooler on first? What's the science here? I think you put this all together and then screw the cooler on, right? Let's just get these out of here. This says Intel and AMD. That says AMD. This says Intel 1700, AMD. We don't need that. We do need that, but we are going to need some screws, so wonder where they come from. And where do these go? Do these go like in between? Oh. I see, said the blind man. So let's open this up, pop these guys out of here. And I think they literally sit here. There's only one way they can go on. So take the bigger end and put it down on the CPU like that on the motherboard. And the star shape needs to go up towards the top. And then let's see how we want our cooler to sit based on how we want our brackets to run. So if this sits like that, then we want our brackets to run kind of north and south. And one of these is for Intel and the other's for AMD, I'm betting. But it's going to go with whatever it lines up to, right? I mean, that's how it works. I'm not going to go any other way, and we're kind of sitting at an angle. I don't know what screws to use. I got 4 screws there for the AMD that are by themselves. I don't know if they'll work or not. I don't see any for the Intel. Well, actually, I think you're supposed to put a bracket on there first. So I think that this goes like this. And then this goes like that. And I don't know if these are the right screws or not to go into that piece. And I'm gonna go with they're not the right screws. Maybe we'll rip open the bag with the Intel screws and try that. But let's just, for testing purposes, see if this will even attempt to screw into that. Oh, boys and girls, this is the fun part. I think next time I'll just pay $30 and stick to my other coolers, because that says AMD and them screws don't fit. And there's no other screws with this system, so let's just throw the Intel stuff out on the floor here. This is for the 1700. So just indulge me for a second. Guess what? We got us a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, so we can put that back on, get our metal bracket again. And maybe this will work this time. I don't know. We're gonna try it. That's why you guys are gonna love the SimStation channel. Because I might be just stupid enough to try anything with a PC. No, I'm sure plenty of you are laughing at me. You've installed these coolers and you're like, it's not as difficult as SimStation's making it out to be. And it's not. I just don't typically buy this style. You've seen me install many CPU coolers and they're definitely of another brand. I like the Cooler Master Hyper Evos. Big fan of them. Been using them for years and years. Alright, so I think we decided we needed it that way for our fan to sit a certain way, right? So what do you do here? I guess you just kind of center it up and just run her down, right? And it looks like it's going to tighten down like that. We're going to get on this one, do the same thing, repeat of the first side, and then we're going to put the second one together the exact same way. So I'll catch you back on when we're putting a cooler on it. Alright, I got the brackets on, finally. And it appears that this thing might line up. It's, we're just not going to bank on that. Alright, so here's our CPU paste. I can't say I've ever put CPU paste on like this. But, you know what? Is there any wrong way to put it on? Except for, that just don't want to come out of there, but Oh, there might be a wrong way to put it on. Get one of these packets and you'll figure it out quickly. Get on there. Help me understand this. Alright, we'll try to squirt some CPU paste out of here. Alright, we're going to pretend like we got not enough, but way too much there. I don't know how else to do it. So this fan right here, I'm going to face it towards the back of the case. So back where your 120 millimeter fan would be. Is that what I'm going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. The I/O shield's the back of the case, so I'm going to face the fan this way because it's going to pull air that way. So it's going to pull air that way. Alright, so we got our paste on there. We're going to line the first one up onto the screw platform, and then we're going to try to do the same thing with the second one. Did we take the plastic off? No, we just got thermal paste all over it though. We still got enough thermal paste on there for 3 or 4 CPUs probably. It will be fine, I promise you. I would not lie to you about that, it'll just be fine. So we're gonna try to get these screws started on this thing, and we'll pretend like that's even halfway straight there. Alright, we're back on the drop PC. Motherboard is in it. I'll get it straightened out here so you can see a little bit better. So we got the motherboard bolted back in. We got our NVMe drive adapter put back in, put together right. We're going to go ahead and wire this thing. So that's what we're going to start here doing. I got all of it put together here, so it's a little bit easier. And I know where these go. I don't need to look. I've done these enough that I can typically look at the front panels layouts and know exactly what goes where for the most part, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys that do this a lot can do the same thing with precision, right? Oh, well, only problem is when you get older, you can't see the pins as well. We'll do a little more cable management on that on the back side, but so far we got it looking pretty good here. We're going to do the power supply next though. That's the next thing in the equation, and I'm going to have to stand it up to do that. But I think I can turn it and you'll be able to see it anyway. We are missing one fan in this thing up here at the top because that fan was broken. I'm not going to glue it back together. There's no sense in it. If 6 fans wouldn't, or 5 fans won't cool it, 6 never would have, right? That's the way I see it. So we still got cables ran through here that are going to need to be hooked up, but we got our front audio hooked up. We have our front panel connectors hooked up, and we have our USB 3.0 hooked up. The memory is in it. The CPU is the 4790 that was in it originally. We did go ahead, and I'm going to give him this motherboard. I'm kind of just going to pay it forward with it. So he's not going to have cost in that. It's going to cost him $54.96 to fix this. That's the price of the CPU cooler, the NVMe adapter, and the fans that we're going to have to put on the graphics card when we get them in later today. So without further ado, I'm probably going to flip this around and set you guys on a different tripod. Alright, finally gonna put the fans in this graphics card. I wasn't gonna show it, but I think I might go ahead and show it. Like, that makes a whole lot of sense. I have a particular screwdriver I like to use for this, but I can't find it. There it is. Something that fits the screws good. This one's not a hard one to tear down, as I recall. The fans, though, there was something about the fans that were a little tricky, and it might not have been this one that I had the issue with the fans being tricky on. It may have been the 1070, the Zotac card. We'll see when we get it tore down, because the farther I go into it, because it hasn't been that long ago, but the farther I go into it, it'll be like, oh yeah, I remember this crap. You know how that works, right? So what we did there was we took the back plate off, and all we're going to do is pull this apart, unplug the fans right here, and quickly that detaches it. But we have to get this off, which has screws on the corners here. Let me see without getting in that thermal paste. See the screw right there? You got one there, all four corners, so both sides. All right, I am going to show this part. Get to where you want to put your fan. We know that if we run it down here, the cooler's going to sit back on like that. But to get these right, you're going to have to feed this fan through here like this. So I got to get this fan to work its way up through here, just like I took the other one out. And we'll get it. It takes a little bit. You just gotta work with it. And once you get it to run through there, then it'll run the wiring the way you need it to. So after we get it through there, then we're gonna run it back down through the other side. Voila and voila. So now we can pull the wiring over where we need it to be. All right, I learned something on this one. So if you got the fan blades lined up right, take the screw and go in close to the hub on it, and then you can get it in there. That's where it has its most clearance at. We're just going to set it up just like it was. We got the fans back in finally, thank God. That thing's a pain in the ass. Alright, we're going to take this guy, which is a CPU cooler body, we'll say. Then we're going to set it down in here and move it right where it goes. Well, we're going to pretend like we know where it goes, right? And then we're going to try to get all four of those screws back in this. So let's make sure that we get it where the holes are lined up and it is straight, right? That'd probably make it a damn sight easier. And then we will get our screws, which are four long ones, and we'll work right back in the side of this cooler. And if it's lined up, then it should go in just like that, no problems. So we're going to get all four of these screws back in, then we're going to get some new thermal paste, and we're going to flip this over and remount it to the, plug the fans in and remount it.
SimStation here. Are you like me? Do you build PCs to flip? Or maybe you just build them for yourself, for your own personal use or gaming? Or streaming even, whatever you use your computer for, that's right. Well, the one thing we can't stand is that annoying message in the bottom right-hand corner that tells us to activate our Windows product, that's right. So if you want to get rid of that message like I do, because you certainly don't want to send one out the door to one of your customers having that annoying message in the corner, I want you to follow me. Use one of the links down in the description below on this video, and it's going to take you right here to keysfan.com, and you can apply my coupon code SSA50, and that's going to save you 50% on your Microsoft Windows installs. And if you're wanting to install Microsoft Office, no better time to do it than today, because with coupon code SSA62, you can save 62% today on your Microsoft Office activation. That's right, keysfan.com. Click the link in the description below to start saving 50% on your Microsoft Windows and 62% on your Microsoft Office products. Thank you to KeysFan. Now back to your regular scheduled video.
All right, I'm not done on this one, but I'm going to be done with the video after this part. It's together. Cable management's done. Come out pretty good. we're going to turn it on. We got the fans and the lights working again. So the fans that are still in it, one of them's making a little bit of a noise, but there's the CPU cooler. That's the dark flash lit up. So we're going to go into the BIOS because I'm going to have to reload Windows, or I'm just going to have to go in and put this on a board that it'll work on and clone it, and then clone it back, which we could do that, but why? It's probably just easier to reload Windows, and I'll re-download iRacing for him. He included this glass panel and the top panel. The top panel would not remount, so I had to straighten it out, and I got it pretty darn good because we have screws in it now. They don't match, but you know, what are you gonna do? He'll have to put the side panel back on because he didn't include the back panel to me, so he'll have to do that part of it. But overall, I mean, considering the beat up mess we got here, you can see where it's been. I mean, you can't make that up, but it's mounted the way it's supposed to be now. So even though it's got the little bend in it, I think overall, you know, with us not having the front panel and the back panel, this is going to go back to them in not too bad a shape, honestly. If it were mine, I'd replace the case. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Once it busted the glass, because I like filters on mine. I like to keep as much dust out as possible. So I don't know what the livelihood of this one will be, but we are working with his CPU and his memory, and everything come out fine there. So we did the rundown on this is we did a CPU cooler, we swapped the motherboard, we had to get the adapter for the NVMe, and I'm going to end up putting fans on the graphics card because of the busted fan blade. So those fans aren't in yet. I won't record doing that because I actually already have coverage of me putting fans on this exact card. So this is twice on this card for me. I won't cover that part of it, but I did want to show you the completed version of this because this is how it's going to leave me. This is exactly what it's going to look like. It's not going to look any different. We're missing the fan up there because it broke, you know. So we got those two and we got the three at the top. I do like those CPU coolers though. And if you look, this is at idle, but that thing seems to run really cool at idle. So not a bad CPU cooler for $22, guys and gals. Keep that in mind. I'll definitely, if the price stays down on these, I'll definitely look at these as a option on some of these builds I do, because I really like that cooler. The RGB is dialed in with the rest of it because we are missing a fan, so we had an extra RGB slot on that hub. And he has a remote for that, but I can control it on the back since the back panel's missing. But all the cable management, I think, come out pretty good in this one. If you look there. We'll still have to test the USB 3.0, but we'll do that once we get it. Once we get everything back together. But we got the graphics card back in it straight. You remember how crooked and bent up that was. So we got it back in there straight. We got the motherboard IO shield straight in there. So all the important stuff is mounted. That's mounted straight again. The motherboard's not in a bind or anything like that. So there it is. I mean, you've seen what it looked like at the beginning of the video, and you're going to see what it looks like at the end of it here. So we went through, diagnosed it, straightened some metal out, got a couple of parts ordered in for it, and she's back together for all intensive purposes and working. So that was an interesting sensation video. I don't recommend that he drops it too many more times. $54.96. That's how much we had in parts on this one here to fix it. And that's not counting the motherboard, but I got the motherboard in a really good trade out deal and Ron Clevenger, thank you very much for that. That was a really good trade out deal, and we're going to be able to take this board because of him and pass it forward, and that's what it's all about. I'll try to help people out as much as I can, and I know it's an unfortunate situation when you have one drop like that. So I'm just glad I could get it back up and going for him, and that it didn't completely wipe out a computer, because this had the double whammy. guys and gals. This one was not only dropped, but the soda that was sitting on there spilled right on top of it. So it got a double whammy. It literally did, but it's living again, right? He's going to get it back, and I don't know, maybe he wants the case because of its battle scars now. This thing went through a battle, and it's running again. It might be one fan short, different CPU cooler, but I kind of like this one better than the Cooler Master. And the temperatures look good on it, so this might be my go-to at $22. I give like $30 for the Cooler Master cooler, so this is $8 cheaper. The only difference is the Cooler Master, I have the convenience of running down to Best Buy and grabbing. Where this one, I got to order it, but off Amazon, you know, 1 or 2 day shipping, so not that big of a deal. But I'm going to mess around with the Windows stuff off camera and get the Windows situation straightened out. And then when them fans come in today, I'm going to try to get those swapped out and get this back to him tonight. So we'll get him back on iRacing in no time. And this is just a good example to be careful when you got these things sitting up on these platforms and on your desk and stuff. You know, because all of us usually have a drink up there. He's not the only one that does that. And when this went down and then the drink went on top of it, it was detrimental to the CPU cooler and to the motherboard. So we were able to use parts thanks to a subscriber and use his old parts on it and order in $54 worth of stuff, and we got his computer back up and running as good as it did before the accident. So that's it. Like, comment, subscribe if you like these videos. It's easy to do, it's free to do, and it helps grow the channel and helps a guy out. So thank you for viewing all these. Thank you to all my subscribers out there, and we'll catch you on the very next Simsation production.